It really sucks seeing people out here that have to struggle mentally every single day of their lives. Is life supposed to be like that? Is life supposed to be stressful? Is life supposed to be depressing? Should life have to be so negative? No. Life is not about those things. Life is about happiness. Life is about fulfillment. Life is about success. To see all these people going through it and for very little people to talk about it is really, really concerning. When are we going to start talking about it? When are we going to start talking about mental health? When are we going to start helping each other mentally, right? And I've really realized this over the past year or so. People are in really bad positions by what's going on out here, and they can't help themselves because they don't know how to take care of their mental health because no one talks about it. Me seeing a lot of people personally in my personal life, seeing a lot of people that have struggled mentally, that I have to check up on every now and then, it really opened my eyes to the situation. And there's external causes like school, like work, like a death in the family, like any of the events that have been going on around the world. And then you got your internal causes like low self-esteem, low confidence. You're struggling with confidence and self-esteem. You have insecurities. You have fears that are really holding you back in this life. It's not supposed to be like that, right? You got people out here that are, because they don't know any better, they neglect it. They hide from their problems. Don't hide from your problems. You're not making matters any better by hiding from the issues that you have, hiding from the personal problems that you have, trying to hide your insecurities, trying to hide your fears. Sometimes it's not good to say everything's okay. Let's not be delusional. If you need help, then you need help. If everything's not okay, then things are not okay. Stop acting like everything's just fine. Because you see everyone out here, in front of you with a smile on their face. When they go home, do you think they have a smile on their face? Probably not. You don't know. People put on a mask in public, but behind closed doors, behind the scenes, they might be going through the same exact thing you're going through. Maybe even worse. So what's the point of hiding it? You're making it worse. You're holding in all this tension in you to the point where one day you're just going to explode. And you might do something you regret, or you might say some things you might regret, or you might, just go crazy. Get the help that you need. And help isn't, oh, I'm going to smoke some weed and I'm going to feel better. Help is not, oh, I'm going to drink 3, 4, 5 cans of beer and I'll be fine. Because guess what? Once that high is done, once you're done smoking that weed and that high is through, you're going to go right back to the state you're at. Right? Once you're drunk, you're going to forget about all the problems that you have in your life. But guess what? Once you sober up the next morning, you're going right back to the problems that you have. Don't think money solves the issue either. You can go on a shopping spree for yourself thinking you're going to feel a lot better. Guess what? You're going to come home and you're going to be thinking about those problems that you have. they're not going to go anywhere. Friends, you can go hang out with your friends, thinking you're going to feel better, thinking they're going to cheer you up, and they will, right? For a couple hours, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours for the night, right? Y'all go out for the night, have some fun, have some drinks. Guess what? Once you come home, you will be in the same spot mentally. You will be in the same spot of your life. You'll have the same problems on your plate. They don't escape by these temporary fixes. And that's another thing that a lot of people have misconstrued about their problems in mental health. It all starts mentally, obviously. Stop. You got to help yourself out. Don't put too much on your plate. If one thing goes wrong, it's okay, because, many people, when one thing goes wrong, they think of other problems that they have at that moment in time. They think about the other problems that they have, and it combines with the problem that just happened. I don't know if this makes sense, but let's say that a family member of yours died, right? So you're grieving over that. You're mourning the loss. You're sad, you're upset, you're hurt, you're really close with this person, right? And then over here, you got your problems that you already are facing in your life. You probably stressed over school. You're probably broke right now. You probably have a low self-esteem, right? Let's say you have those 3 things, right? When you're grieving that loss of your loved one, of a family member or whatever, and then you start to think about the other problems that you have and combine it together, it makes everything 10 times worse. You're adding fuel to your own fire. Don't you want to put out your fire instead of add fuel to it? I'm going to wrap this up by saying this, man. I'll actually start off by saying this. I saw a quote, and it said something along the lines of, oh, here it is. Did you just really did you have a bad day, or did you have a bad day, or did you just have a bad moment that you decided to drag on throughout the entire course of that day and call it a bad day? Think about that. Whenever you tell people, oh, I've had a bad day, they're going to ask you why. And you got to be able to answer that question fully. You can't just say, oh, this one thing happened. No, that doesn't qualify for a bad day. One thing can't qualify for a bad day. There's people out here that have multiple things go wrong for them in a day, and they're still smiling, they're still happy, they're still continuing on with life because shit happens. They know that shit happens. Stuff happens every day, guys. Stuff happens every day. It's just however you want to respond to it. Another quote. Excuse me. 10% of life is what happens to you. 90% of life is how you respond to it. I can't say it any better than that, man. I can't say it any better than that. Depression is real. Stress is real. Anxiety is real. Do not think that, don't think that other people aren't going through it. Most, if not all, people are going through something. Maybe to a lesser degree than yours or a higher degree, who knows, right? Someone's always going through something. So don't feel like you're the only one that's going through these problems. Seek help when you need it. Cut off the negative energy. Be mindful of how you feel throughout the entire course of the day, every single day. You can write down your thoughts of how you feel. Those are just some options. But wrap this back around. When are we going to talk about mental health? When are we going to talk about depression, stress, anxiety, all these things? Because it matters more than most of the stuff we as humans talk about. Like especially in this generation. You know, people always talking about females. People always talking about money. People always talking about, oh, the government's corrupt. People always talking about all this other stuff that doesn't really matter. But what about your mental health? Let me ask you about that. Let me not ask you all these other things, all these third dimensional matrix things. Let me ask you about your mental health. Is your mental health okay? And really sit back and think about it. I'm gonna end it off with that. Be different, be a one-on-one. I'm out. Peace.